What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video, and here on the channel we do a lot of remelts. Y'all know that's kind of my thing. And one of my favorite videos that we've made here on the channel was remelting Walmart's cheapest soft plastics and seeing just how it turns out if we could make the cheapest baits at Walmart into something better. And today we're doing the complete opposite. Today we are remelting Walmart's most expensive soft plastics that I could find here at my local Walmart. Disclaimer, I live in the middle of nowhere. They really didn't have much, but I got the most expensive ones that I could find. But yeah, earlier this morning I went to Walmart and I got the goods. Walked around the bait aisle and I found the most expensive soft plastics that I could find. By the end of it, my wallet was gasping for air. It was bad. Like, even before I started making my own baits, I would never buy these baits ever. Like, I always went for the cheapest stuff. But it hurts even more when you make your own baits and you know, oh, I could literally make, I don't know, 60 of these stick baits for the same price of buying this pack of 8. Like, so it really pained me to swipe the card for some of these baits. But hey, it's gonna make a good video, so. But yeah, that's enough talking. Let me show you the most expensive baits that I could find at Walmart that we're gonna be remelting today. Bam. I bought 4 packs of baits for $20. It rounds out to about $5 a pack, which isn't terrible. And I was actually really surprised at the prices of some of these baits. So let's start off with one of the cheaper ones. Boom. Culprit Confidence with Every Cast. Culprit Worm is one of the OG baits. Like, my dad used to fish with these when he was my age. And the color we picked out is this beautiful, beautiful tequila shad. It is a laminate, so it's black on one side and then that purple on the other, that tequila on the other. I tried to stay away from laminates, but when I seen this color and the price, I was like, dude, we got to try to remelt that, see what happens. That is a beautiful, beautiful ribbon tail worm. Absolute bass candy right here. I mean, it don't get much better than that. And today we're going to chop it up and melt it down and make it something, not this. But yeah, this was one of the cheaper, expensive baits that I found. This pack right here was $4.98. And these are going to be different prices literally everywhere. This is just the price of it in my little small town here in Kentucky. So $4.98 for a pack of culprit worms. Not terrible, really. And then next up, the second cheapest. It was actually the same exact price as the culprit, which I was super surprised of. Because when I think expensive baits, this is the company I think of. I don't know if it's just my local Walmart or if their prices have just gone down. Like I said, I don't buy soft plastics anymore. But surprisingly, one of the cheaper, expensive baits at Walmart was a Yamamoto bait. Yeah, a senko. For, I feel like all of my life, the Yamamoto senko has been like $7 a pack. But this pack right here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's a weird amount. Why would they not put 8? That's that's kind of strange. But this pack of 7 senkos was only $4.98. And maybe it's different somewhere else. Maybe this is just like what they sell at Walmart now, but I've always thought Yamamoto has been like one of the more expensive baits, but I totally went into this thinking this was going to be the most expensive. Boy, was I wrong. And there it is. Boom. That's a beautiful color. This color is called Watermelon Red and Green. Simple color. Simple senko color. But hey. Yep. There it is. Packed full of the good old salt. And I'd like to say this packaging, the new and improved Yamamoto packaging, I like the OG better. This looks good, don't get me wrong, but the OG Yamamoto baits, yeah, that was it. So now getting into the second most expensive bait that I bought. And this one really surprised me. This one surprised me more than the Yamamoto, that this company was one of the more expensive ones. And that is Zoom. But in their trick worm, June bug trick worm, that's the color we got. Absolutely beautiful. The June bug Zoom color is next level. I mean, it's top tier. But this bag right here, now granted, these are big worms and you get 20 worms in a pack. So I understand the pricing for a grand total of $5.88. So we're almost at that $6 mark. And I mean, that's a lot of baits for $6. Like, that June bug color, absolutely beautiful. And now, the most expensive soft plastic bait that I found at my local Walmart was a pack of Strike King Rage Tails. These right here were the most expensive, and they were only $5.96. I'll say that like that's not a lot for a couple crawls. But going into this, I totally thought I was going to buy some $8, $9 packs of baits, but my local Walmart just didn't have that. Like I said, I live in the middle of nowhere. We don't have a Bass Pro Shops, and Academy is like an hour away. So I'm sure if I went to one of those places, I could probably find some $8, $9 bags of baits. But in my little Kentucky Walmart, this was the most expensive, $5.98. And we got the color Summer Crawl. Beautiful, beautiful laminate color. Got a light green on one side and a dark green on the other. Oh yeah. And that right there, those are the most expensive baits that I could find at my Walmart. And now for the fun part, let's crack these bad boys open, melt them down, and make them into new baits. Alright guys, here we go. Let's start with the cheapest of the most expensive. These Culprit Tequila Shad 7.5 culprit worms. Honestly, this really does pain me, remelting all of these baits. Which, by the way, me doing this and remelting these baits is in no way a knock on any of these companies. These baits right here and all of the baits we're remelting today, all of these companies are the reason I'm doing what I'm doing now and why I love bass fishing, why I love making baits. Each and every one of these companies has had something to do with that, and they've all inspired me in different ways. So this is not me saying all these baits are way too expensive and they suck, so let's remelt them and make something better. No, we're literally just seeing what happens when we remelt these and seeing if we can turn these into something else. So that way y'all know, if you go out and buy a $5 pack of baits and you go through the whole pack and you don't throw them away, you can bring them home. All you need is a mold, an injector, and a microwave. You can bring all your old baits home, throw them in this cup, put them in the microwave, remelt them down, and make new baits and just like keep the cycle going for a pretty long time. So doing this, we're just going to see which one of these more expensive baits remelts better and if it looks decent after you do it. So yeah, let's get to chopping. We're doing this just to, it melts it down just a little bit better. So boom. I only got one pack of all of these, so hopefully it melts down enough to where we can actually use some of it. There we go. Culprit Tequila Shad. Oh, we're in the microwave. Now I will say, these right here are not going to take that long at all. Like, I'm going to start with 30 seconds and see where that gets us and go up from there. Remelting these baits is not like me remelting like a big puck. Like, remelting that'd take a couple minutes. Remelting these few little baits, not going to take any time at all, and I'm going to try my hardest not to burn any of this. One, so we can still use it and make new baits, but two, I don't want to smell it. It smells terrible. And usually when you're remelting these big box brands, they usually do smell pretty bad, so start with 30 seconds, see where that gets us. And as for the bait that we're going to be making these into, I have a special one, and it is this bad boy right here. We're going to be turning the Culprit 7.5 inch culprit worm in the Tequila Shad colorway into 2.5 inch Kelly Baits Ned craws. If this color turns out even halfway decent, I think it's going to look sick in the Ned craws. One bonus of doing this, now I get bags to put up on the bait wall. And I actually didn't have a bag of culprits, so this bag is going to go right up there. If you're looking at that blank spot right there, the Guggen bag fell, so I gotta hang that back up. So hey, at least we get some decorations out of these expensive baits. Alright y'all, the culprit is melted down and ready to go. I do want to say, if you try to do this, please, 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 make sure you either do it outside or in a very well ventilated area, because this stuff smokes to high heaven. It stinks. You don't need to be breathing it in. I got a fan kicking, door open. Just make sure you're not just doing this in your mom's kitchen or something. Alright. But here we go. First injection. I will say I'm very impressed. The culprit doesn't have a grain of salt in it. I'm sure some of the more expensive ones that we'll do, that is not going to be the case. And I think we had enough. Barely, but I think we did. Oh yeah. That color remelted perfectly. Wow. That looks awesome. Alright guys, here we go. Let's check these out. 3 minutes ago, these were 7.5 inch culprit worms. And now they are 2.5 inch Ned craws, and oh my goodness, check out that color. That is insane. That is a beautiful, beautiful color. Yeah, that is sick. Look at that. And it looks beautiful in the craws. I mean, Tequila Shad. I actually have a tequila color kind of like this, but since this was a laminate, it has some of that black in it, so it darkened it up a lot, and it looks awesome. I mean, that looks beautiful. It didn't burn. It smelled pretty bad, but that's just normal, and it shot flawlessly. Let's go. All right, y'all, next up, let's go ahead and do the Zoom trick worm in that June bug. I've seen people remelt these before, and these usually turn out sick. I mean, that June bug, dude. And this right here is an OG bait. This thing has caught many fish in its time, and we are just cutting it up and turning it into something else. Zoom trick worm in the June bug, going in the microwave. And the bait that we're going to be turning these into is this right here, the 3.8 inch Rip Rap. This mode's from Angling AI, a paddle tail swim bait. I'm trying to turn the original bait that we bought into something that's just completely different. We turned curl tail culprit worms into Ned craws. Now we're going to turn trick worms into a paddle tail swim bait. We'll see. All right, y'all, here we go. Zoom trick worms turning into paddle tail swim baits. I will say, this smells 10 times worse than the Culprits. I mean, this is terrible. It's bad. I mean, it's really bad. But the color, dude, so sick. It remelted perfectly. And I think it's going to look pretty sick in these paddle tails. Boom, there we go. We still got a lot of plastic left over too. But alright guys, here we go. Let's check out the new Zoom Trick Worm June Bug Swim Bait. Oh wow, okay. They filled out perfectly and that doesn't look too bad. That actually looks sick. Wow. And there she is. Dude, that looks awesome. That is a beautiful, usable swim bait right there. Super, super salty. You know, I'm sure the formula of plastic that Zoom uses for their trick worm is definitely not meant to be used for a swim bait. But hey, it will work. It will fish. And that looks like bass candy right there. And there we go. Zoom trick worm swim baits. Those look pretty good. That June bug color, yeah. Check that out. Beautiful. Alright, next worm up is the one, honestly, I'm the most worried about when it comes to remelting. That is the Yamamoto senko. I just don't know, because these things are loaded with salt, so I have no idea how these are going to remelt. And it kind of makes me sad to remelt them, because look how beautiful these are. I mean, that is a good looking stick bait right there. But, y'all know how we do it over here. We chop them up. Oh, gosh. Yeah, these things. It's probably safe to say that these senkos, well over 30% salt. My stick baits that we make, the papaw sticks, they're probably more about 5% salt. I barely put any salt in it because I don't want my worm to fall off the hook after 10 casts. But that's what makes people love these so much, is all the salt. And I mean, they're fish catching machines. I mean, they're tried and true, tested and proven. They are some of the goats. And we're going to remelt it and turn it into, well, let me show you what we're going to turn it into. I figured, hey, we're melting down Yamamoto senkos. It only makes sense to turn them into some crappie baits. We're turning Yamamoto senkos into some crappie darts. We'll see. I think I figured something out too. I think the more expensive the bait, the worse it smells when you remelt it. Because this, terrible. Absolutely terrible. But it remelted fine. I hope I have enough to do this. I don't think I'm going to, honestly. I mean, there is barely any plastic in there. I should have got 2 packs, but we're going to try it. Yeah, I do not think that's going to work at all. We might have to do something else. Maybe. Maybe. Some of them might have turned out. Hey, as far as the remelt goes, it did a lot better than I was expecting. The color still looked great. It's probably the last plastic I would ever use to make crappie baits. Because to me, a good crappie bait, you can catch 20 fish on the same bait, and it's still perfect. This Yamamoto plastic with all that salt in it, yeah, you'll be lucky to catch 1 on it. So, but alright guys, here we go. The Yamamoto crappie bait. Let's see if these even turned out. There was barely any plastic in there. Some of them did. Up at the top, y'all can see the tails didn't really fill out. But down at the bottom, they don't look terrible. They smell to high heaven, even after setting up. I mean, but hey, there we go. The Yamamoto crappie dart. Dude, it honestly looks pretty good. Color might not be the best for crappie fishing, but I'm sure it'd catch something. That's not bad at all. Okay. And let me just show y'all. Just look at this. Look at all of that salt. I mean, that thing just tears right up. Even after you let this cure up, I mean, just look at it. It's just all salt. But there we go. We got a couple nice, usable crappie baits out of that. But here we go. Last but definitely not least, this was the most expensive bait that I found at my Walmart. Strike King Rage Tails. This one hurts me too, because I love this bait. One of my favorite baits ever. Woo! Damn, them smell good. Okay, maybe I was wrong. The most expensive definitely smells the best, at least before remelting it. But that is a beautiful laminate, y'all can see. I try to stay away from laminates so that way we're not mixing too many colors. But the Culprit turned out fine, so hopefully this one does too. Alright, let's chop up some $6 craws. No salt. I'm surprised. I'm really, really surprised. I thought these were going to be loaded with salt. But, I mean, there might be a little bit in there. Yeah, there's a little bit. But usually, some of these more expensive baits, they're usually loaded down with salt. These, not so much. Here we go. $6 Strike King Rage Tails. Melting down. And let's turn them into a 5-inch classic stick bait. Yep, that's right. We're turning craws into a stick bait. All right, y'all, here we go. Strike King Rage Tails, the most expensive bait that I found at my Walmart. We're turning them into some good old 5-inch classic stick baits. I didn't even realize it. The Rage Tails, they're scented with coffee. That's why they smell so good. I mean, dude, my shop right now smells amazing. On the sniff test, Rage Tail beats them all. I mean, it smells wonderful in here. Ooh, hopefully there's enough plastic for that too. We might have got 1 or 2 stick baits out of that. But yeah, coffee scent, dude, next level. I love it. All right, guys, let's check out the new Rage Tail stick baits. The color pretty much just turned into like a green chartreuse, which I don't hate, especially in a stick bait. Ooh, oh yeah, dude, those look pretty good. Yeah, that top one got an air bubble in it, but the rest of them turned out pretty decent. Wow, okay, yeah, those look pretty good. Just a green chartreuse. Almost looks like a watermelon seed. Yeah, those top 2 got a bunch of air bubbles in them. Definitely probably need about 2 packs to really make a good run. These 2 right here, these are nice, usable stick baits in a pretty decent color. And I mean, they smell wonderful. Not too bad. Not too bad at all for the most expensive bait that I found at Walmart. Let's go. But all right, guys, about 30 minutes of work later and $20 just down the drain. Well, not really. Not really. We got a couple nice usable baits out of it. But here is the final spread. Got them all laid out here. There's what used to be a Rage Tail, but is now 5-inch stick bait. Moving on to the Yamamoto crappie darts. That color, dude, it looks sick. Are they going to fall apart almost instantly? Yes, but they look really good. Then moving on to probably my favorite, the Culprit and the Ned Cross. Dude, that color, that tequila, turned out absolutely insane. That's probably my favorite. And then the Zoom Trick Worm swim baits. They look pretty good too. That June bug, dude, it's hard to beat. But there we go. We remelted the most expensive baits at Walmart and turned them into some decently looking remelt baits. I mean, they'll fish. They will definitely fish. Y'all let me know, which one is your favorite? Which one would you fish? Like I said, me personally, this Ned Crawl, dude, you ain't beating it. It is not, it doesn't get better than that. All the plastic remelted relatively well. I went nice and slow, like I said, like 30 seconds at a time. All of the colors held up pretty good. All the flake held up. And even the Yamamoto crappie darts. I was really scared with all that salt in it that it wasn't gonna remelt well, but they turned out pretty good. But all right, guys, that is going to do it for today's remelt video. Y'all let me know, should we do this at like a different location? Should I do like the cheapest Academy baits versus the most expensive? Or should I just go online or something and try to find the most expensive soft plastics that I could find on the internet and remelt those? Y'all let me know down in the comments. If y'all like this type of video, let me know by hitting that like button. It will help me out. It will help my wallet out a little bit. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. JT, and I'm out.